Hey geeks, it's Mr. Chris from A Lincoln Geek. We're going to be live with you very soon, in just under a couple of minutes. So sit back and relax, because we are joining Klemens Luger and talking about magical friends and how to summon them. A game he's just recently designed, which is now live on Kickstarter. We're really excited to chat with him, and we hope you are too. So stay online and ask your questions, and hopefully we'll get a chance to answer them. In the meantime, if you aren't aware, we're doing our very first worldwide giveaway. We're really excited to be giving away a copy of Trek 12, Bullfrogs and Getaway Driver. Go check out the details on our Instagram page on how to enter this awesome giveaway. We're really excited. So, go grab yourself a drink and maybe even get yourself a little snack, because very soon, just under a minute, we're going to be starting the show. Let's talk board games with our special guest, Klemens Luger. Greetings, Internet. Hello. I hope everyone is well, and I've got some weird playback going off in the background. I think it's gone now. Yeah, it has. It's gone. Oh, welcome to episode 26. Crikey, where's the time flown? This is, it dumbfounds me every time. Our humble little podcast and live stream has become what it is you see today, which is it's just grown and developed even more each time we come on, isn't it, Gregor?
Yes,
it really does. So, of course, for anyone who's not aware, I am Mr. Chris from Diary of a Lincoln Geek, and we have my fellow co-host, Mr. Gregor, down below.
Hello.
And we have our special guest, Klemens Luger.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello from
Klemens,
Salzburg.
Yeah, all the way from Salzburg. Yes, lovely. What's it like over there? Is it cold, warm, wet?
Yeah, well, today it started to rain, but
Uh-oh.
It's not that big of a deal. It rains a lot here too.
Yeah. Anything like the UK, it's depressing when it's wet. But hey ho, we get on with the show. So we have, of course, our lovely watchers and listeners online on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So, of course, if we've got any questions that come in while we're on the show, then please do. We'll bring them up on screen, and we'll hopefully get them asked and answered for you. Of course, if we don't quite get back to everyone, then obviously please do understand. We'll try and get back to you later. But in the meantime, let's talk about why you're here. You're here because you have just got a Kickstarter live at the moment, haven't you?
Yes.
Magical friends and how to summon them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a lovely board game where you try to show off with a lot of friends that you actually cheat your way into it by summoning them and sending them to the tavern for a big party.
Ooh, big party! Like a big party. Does this have an adult theme, or is this just because it's going to a tavern?
I think it's for everyone.
Yay, we like family friend games.
Yeah, they are family friendly, but still you can pick up on the others and try to slow them down and slay the other creatures. But yeah. So it is a very interactive game.
No, that's good. Just before I forget, what's the brief player count on this game again? Because is it 1 to 4, or is there a solo mode in this?
It's 2 to 5.
2 to 5. That's it.
It is a relaunch from last year, but last year it was 2 to 4 players, and this time it's 2 to 5 players. We added a whole wizard to the game.
I was going to say you beat me to the bullet there, because I was going to ask you what's different to the game from last year, because of course you failed the launch through choice, wasn't it? It was your choice. You decided to not go ahead with it, which is sometimes a brave decision. And of course you're back here now. It's live, and it's currently at I'd probably say 2/3 of the way along, with 14 days left to go.
Yeah, it's at 80% right now.
That's good.
We're good to go. Yeah, there will be a big swing at the end. That's the usual way with Kickstarters. At the moment, we're hoping to get some more people in. What's new since last year? Yeah, last year there was one reason because for canceling is because there were 2 stretch goals I really wanted to have in the game. It would have been very complicated to actually reduce the game back to what was planned with it. Maybe later you will see there is a big inlay for creatures, for the standees in the box. Making it smaller, it would be possible, but bringing those extra creatures with an extra add-on would be just very much effort. You have to do a big extra box for a kind of small add-on, and that's just not great. I also wanted to have the 5th player with it, and well, now it will be there for sure, because it's now part of the base game. We also finished the artwork that was missing last year, and we completely reworked the 2-player mode.
Okay.
The last prototypes that went out, they're 1.5 year old, because at some point you need to make a prototype, because you need to send them out, and it will take a while till people can play it and review it. So yeah, prototypes that are out are quite old. And at the time I was not very happy with my 2-player mode, so we completely reworked it, and it's a lot better now.
Yeah. Well, we've actually already got a question from the internet. So Joe Paul has asked us, what made you choose 1 additional player instead of making an even 6 or more, or did 5 just feel best?
5 feels very good. There are 4 paths to the tavern, and with those 4 paths you will have, well, they are double-sided. You will have different effects on each path. Some are shorter, some have effects. Well, they all have effects. And 5 still fit very nicely on that board. It's important that the board is filled with creatures, because no matter where you go, you wanna have traction with other players. That works with 4 paths very nicely. But 6 players would be already too much. We would have needed a bigger game board. Yeah. But with 3 players and 2 players, we will just take out one of the paths. That's no problem. But with 4 and 5 players, there are 4 paths.
Okay. I mean, Gregor will comment on this, I'm sure, but I'm an immensely visual person, and if something looks good, it's bound to get my attention, and I will say it does look good. The artwork's fantastic. Did you guys do the artwork in-house yourselves, or have you used someone external to the team?
Well, I know a university professor in a digital art university close in Salzburg, and he just mentioned an artist, Hannah, and she's really awesome. She brought along a friend of hers that's Nessie, and so I got two illustrators from this university, and well, I did not expect to get these great artworks from them. So yeah, I'm working with these 2 illustrators, and that's a lot of work they had to do, because I really want a lot from them. Altogether, there are around 80 artworks, I think, as part of the game, and even well, there are small cards. Okay, they do not have the biggest artworks, but even the regular cards have quite big artworks on it for just regular cards.
Okay. That's never a bad thing. I mean, we've Joe Paul's come in and said it sounds like an excellent design decision. And Natarov, if I've pronounced that right, I do apologise if I've butchered your name. Is the sweet spot at 5 players? Well, yes, we've just covered that. So yeah.
I think 4 and 5 is the sweet spot.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
You said that you were working on a 2-player mode as well, because that wasn't something you were originally happy with. So what does that look like?
The 2-player mode, the 2-player mode got completely reworked. At the old point with the prototype, it was just like 2 players summon double as many creatures, but that's a big head load you got there, because
you manage a lot of different things.
You manage a lot, and an important part of the game is that you will build small combos with those creatures. All those creatures have unique abilities and they interact differently with each other. Having double as many creatures allows you a lot more combos and very big swings that can be quite devastating some points with 2 players. But yeah, I completely reworked it. Now it is like this, that every player plays like normal, like in a 3, 4 or 5 player match, but there will be a 3rd dummy wizard. You influence that wizard by showing off the big artifact cards. As part of the game, usually at the beginning of the round, you're bidding for turn sequence by putting out artifact cards. And in the 2-player mode now, you will also receive control over the 3rd wizard at the end of the round if you bid a high artifact card. So with the 3rd wizard, you will also have the board filled because you have more creatures on board with it. At the same time, you will have that unreliable 3rd part of the game, like having another player there that you can't really rely on. You can influence them. You can tell them, the other one is in the lead. Maybe you try to block him or something like this. And here you can try to take control over it. But as your artifact cards are getting less and less when you play them, and if you play higher artifact cards, you will not have them later. So if you try to force some rounds where the 3rd player will have some swings for you, later on you might get the trouble back to you. And another fun thing about the 3rd player, he can win the game. He will not try to endanger their own creatures, and he will run towards the tavern. So if you focus too much on the other player, the dummy wizard might win, and that would be a shame, wouldn't it?
I love it.
Even as the player in the rear, you can use this to your advantage, because you can also push the 3rd player, so the other player has to work against the dummy wizard.
Yeah.
Have you actually had a situation where the automated player, the dummy wizard, have you actually had a game yet where they've won?
It was close, but in the last round we really had to stop him at some point.
When you're talking about the characters, I've just put the character artwork up on screen because I love it. The artwork's very whimsical. Even the character names. I mean Donnie Dark Matter, for example. What was the inspiration behind the characters and the artwork for the game?
Well, I wanted to do a very rounded fantasy theme, like the Gandalf style old wizard with the long beard, and a young witch with the broom, and also there are a few wizards that seems similar to Donnie Dark Matter that really have this magic inside them. And the typical witch with cats. So we made her a crazy cat lady, and at the end we thought like a shamanistic 5th player would be great. So we brought in Jala.
That's great. It's great. I mean, since we're talking about artwork, I'll bring up some of the other artwork that on screen. You know, is that a drachma? But
The Arachne,
the Arachne, yeah, Arachne. We've also got your angel
angel,
artworks, and we've also got the Goblin Riddle Sphinx, which I love. It's one of my favorites because it's subtle little differences in artwork that I love. The Sphinx Printer 2000.
yeah. You know, like if you look at those artworks, you know, like the Sphinx, it's a legendary creature that at some stories they talk, they tell riddles, and yeah, that's why we made her the riddle maker. You know, like she's the one that puts the crossword puzzles into the newspapers and stuff like that. Or like here you have a connection, you know, this is the Sphinx and it does the goblin riddle, and the Arachne actually uses the same riddle to try to get a goblin into her web.
Yeah. Got a great question. It's kind of a good timing for it. Joe wants to know, do you have a favorite character, and are the characters just flavor, or do they have special powers?
If you mean by character those wizards do not have special powers right now, but there is a stretch goal for them. So we already tested a lot with those maybe additional powers, but they will never be as balanced as the rest of the game. The balancing of this game was built around bidding for the turn order. And bidding for the turn order also means, like, if there is something, a strong creature right now for the board situation, or for your specific combination of creatures, you will bid a high artifact card to get earlier to it. So you are paying the price that you think the creature is worth. So with 50 different and unique creatures, the balancing is really important with these artifact powers. Giving each player a specific power is tough to balance there. So yeah, I know it is a great thing to have asymmetric player powers, but asymmetric player powers are hard to balance. So it will be an additional variant to play that can be added if we reach that stretch goal.
Okay. I mean, so these are some of the minions, aren't they? Scheming Dagger, Salt and Pepper Gargoyles.
Those are the artifact cards, yeah.
Are the artifact cards, right? Okay.
Yes, those are the ones that you are using to bid for the initiative. Every player will have a 1 to 11.
Yeah.
And the lower level or the lower value artifact cards, they will have bonus effects, like the Scheming Dagger. It allows you, you know, it's a dagger, but it's so intriguing that it will poison you. So, yeah. You will get the bonus movement can poison somebody.
Yeah.
And the Salt and Pepper just gives you a bonus movement and a magic power that you can use to use with some creatures.
Okay. No, and I love the whimsical artwork, and it's a definite selling point for myself. I mean, I think when you look at the Kickstarter, it's very clear. It's very straightforward what's involved and what's available on the Kickstarter. I think, Gregor, have you got that ready to show on screen?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Can you bring that up? Because I can see it's already down there. I didn't want to get involved.
The Kickstarter page itself.
Yeah. If you bring that up on screen, that'd be great.
1 second.
Yeah. Oh. We lost it. Phil Chris. Here we go. Yeah. So, how long did it take you to get your head round, setting up the Kickstarter? Because this is your first game you've done, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and it's not a small campaign for a first game either.
It's a big game. Afterwards, I would have thought maybe a card game would be great.
Yeah.
But but it's a big game and it's a lot of effort. So you have the pound price here, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't think in advance to switch into like an Austrian VPN to euros.
No, no problem. It's just confusing numbers here. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We have a goal of 25,000 euros
Yeah.
or 21,620 pounds. And that's not a small goal right now.
Yeah,
even if you look at some big designers like Stonemeyer, Jamie Stegmaier.
Yeah.
Even his witty culture at the beginning that was quite successful. I think it reached somewhere between 30 and 40,000 euros. So it's a big goal, and it's something that you didn't think much about at the beginning when you do a big game like this. But you need that much because the smallest amount of games you will be producing is 1,000, and 1,000 is already tough. You better produce 1,500 games.
Yes, yeah, because you always want spares at the end, because you can't just, while it's not a bad thing making sure everyone gets their copy, but to have extras, to hopefully bump up any costs that you might not have thought about is definitely worth it.
But you also need to get them out. Like if it's a small card game, you might get 400, 500 on one pallet, or even more, probably 1,000. But with a game like this, you will have only 180 on a pallet. So if you order 1,500, you have 10 pallets you have to store somewhere if you don't sell them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a difficult thing, doing a Kickstarter. And
yes.
I no personal experience yet with that, because we've got that step to do in our personal project, but it's that decision that people have got to make, especially when they're new to it. How big or small do you go?
Well, it's a different thing if you want to be a board game designer and wanna publish a lot of games. It's probably good to go small. If you have a specific game idea, well, you want to do that idea, and I want to do that idea, and it's just not a small game. So it happened like this, and at some point, I started doing these designs, and I played prototypes, and it worked really nice. And at the point where I said, okay, I'm hiring 2 illustrators and I'm paying money for artworks now, was the part where I said, okay, I'm doing that and I will finish that board game.
Yeah. Fair play to you. Gregor, if you can just go through, what are the pledge levels? Because obviously I know you've got a deluxe level, but how many pledge levels do you have?
The pledge levels, well, the usual $1 and $3 for merchants.
Yeah.
But it starts with $13. It's mainly promoting the artwork. Yeah. My illustrators did a great job, and it's the least I can do to give them something to show around and sell for themselves too.
And in fact, you got the desktop wallpaper packs, a nice touch. I like those. I love those.
Well, we will pick just the best artworks for that. Okay, yeah, that's the art book pledge, and then we are already starting with the regular pledge, like the game itself. It will be 49 euros with VAT. And yeah, you will get just everything that you got before, just without the art book so far. It's just the base game here.
Okay.
And then we have like the the two all-in packs basically. Like this is the one without the art book, and one with art book, because there are many players who, well, you can't play with the art book, and that's why many don't really need one. But here you will have all the extras that are available. You will see on the page there will be an extra that you can add. That's the fancy pack. It's a full art card set. If you ever played Magic the Gathering, you know, like there's the regular cards, and then there are some promotion cards with the full artwork on it.
Cards, yeah.
And they look incredible. I really love it.
Wow.
And so we did that too.
Nice.
It's a completely additional pack that you can have.
Yeah.
You can swap them out whenever you feel like it, because every time you bring the artwork
really nice.
in the foreground, you will always lose some readability on stuff. So it's best to play the game like 2-3 times with the normal pack, and then just swap them in for the real fancy artwork. But yeah, you see it yourself. It's really great when they're borderless, and
they're beautiful, and it's a really nice touch. And I actually wish more games would do it, because and while I understand that there's a cost bracket for doing edge-to-edge printing and doing large-scale artwork, if you've taken the time to do nice, beautiful artwork, utilize it.
Yes,
and often I've seen games. Marvel Dice Throne is a classic example. It's got some amazing artwork, and they've got this horrible border that stops. It drives me around the bend. And Magic's another great example. You know, thousands of amazing artists, and then you see people butchering cards on TikTok and on YouTube, where they're cutting away the cardboard at the edge, painting at the edge, and then extending the artwork by hand.
I never heard that before. I never seen that before.
It's a thing. People do it. It's crazy. There's a good, interesting comment. Joe said, "I saw the gingerbread hearts as part of in the all-in game. Can I eat those?"
Well, if you go a little bit down, this is the art book, and well, it's not the final design, but in the all-in package down there, you will see there is there are acrylic standees and acrylic hearts. If you go a little bit more down, you will see, the acrylic standees and acrylic hearts. Well, they are. Yes, sure, we have an imp.
Geek does not recommend that you eat the acrylic gingerbread heart.
No, we don't. We don't condone eating acrylic. However, we approve of this game because we're in it. We're an imp. Our imp's in it. It looks just like our guy. It's not.
So what's up with the gingerbread hearts? So like here you will see the the acrylic standees and acrylic gingerbread hearts. We usually, the hearts are also part of the base game. They are just from cardboard, but it feels weird to put a cardboard heart over an acrylic standee. So we kind of had to do both in acrylic. Those hearts, by the way, they're really cute. Every player has also 11 hearts, and they all have different nicknames, because that's the international sign of true friendship, a gingerbread heart. So whenever you send out the creature, you put the heart around them and send them on.
That touch.
And every one of those hearts has a regular side, a healthy side, and a poison side. So when your creature gets poisoned, you just flip the heart, and you will always have a weakened state of the same nickname.
Okay, I love it.
Also, right now at Kickstarter, there is a poll where people can add nicknames and in a normal and weakened state, and it's awesome.
Oh, I want to give a nickname to the imp. I want to call him Ink, because that's what ours is called. Ours is called Ink the Imp.
Yeah.
I was going to briefly show you, because one of the things that I do like that you've done is that you've put all of your creature cards. I mean, obviously, artwork subject to change. You put all of your creature cards just up for people to have a look at. So you can actually see what they all do. Here's the imp. What he's doing his thing. There we go. Imp. Where have you gone?
He's there. He's ace.
But yeah, like you can see all the different, and yes, it's the bordered card, Chris. But you can see what all the different ones do in advance. So even before you receive your Kickstarter copy of the game, if you're the sort of person that likes strategizing, well, good news, you can start building your strategy now before the game's in yet. And you've been using Tabletop Simulator as well to do some bits.
Especially during COVID, it was very important, but it is generally really, really great to be able to test the game with people overseas, and it's a very good thing to have Tabletop Simulator. It's a lot of effort because I always did the versions in German and in English, and updating it twice, 3 times on both languages is a lot of work.
It is,
and as you see, the standees, they always have 2 sides of artwork. The hearts are not part of it, but
and we appreciate you making all that effort. We
Thank
do.
you.
No, we do, because I know personally, just updating artwork on one game is enough. So the fact that you've done this twice for all of these components is something special. So well done to you for doing that, because it's not an easy thing. And have you done a lot of the graphic design in-house?
It's very nice that those illustrators I have, they actually are doing the 3D course. So like, one of the artists is really great at doing also the moving pictures, the GIFs, and at the same time another artist also learned to do graphic design. So those 2 illustrators are doing everything art related in the game.
Well, they've done a great job, and they've done your game justice. So is the Kickstarter available for people to check out if they want to?
Yes, at all times. I think you already posted the link, and that's great. To the artworks, it's one of the most the best feelings you can have when you're giving ideas for artworks out and you will get them back in colored. It's just really, really great. Like, those are 50 different creatures, and pretty much to every one of them I gave an idea what I would like to have and at the painting, and they came back so great. Like, if you check out the griffin on top, I think you just here.
I like it's got a great facial expression.
Yes, like, I felt okay, when I think of a griffin, there always come those coat of arms up in mind. Like there are so many coats of arms in Europe with a griffin on it, and they always look like this. So let's make a griffin model. And that's what Nessie came up with, and it's just perfect.
Yeah, it is perfect. And you've already got a new backer. There you go. Thanks, Young TV. Klemens will appreciate that one. I'm very much sure. It's nice to know that the show that helps people out with the Kickstarters. And we've actually got a surprisingly lot of interaction on the comments, but they've been like, not questions, just talking about the fact that apparently we're making people feel hungry because we talked about gingerbread hearts. This is one of the great things that we enjoy about doing with the show is that interaction with people. So if you have a question that you want to ask while we're still going, then please do pop it up on the chat and I can bring it up on screen. What I will say is to that person who's just backed the game, what really appealed to you? And we'll come back to you in a minute. That was to Young TV, who's watching on YouTube, which is really nice. But what I want to ask you now is, of course, you've got all these lovely artwork and you've got all these elements. How long did you spend initial play testing and coming up with the concept in that first iteration? And how much has it changed since that initial iteration and that since the second time of you putting it to Kickstarter?
It has been changed a lot. So we play tested a lot of the game. I think we had over 80 games, and that's about like probably around 100 to 200 people playing it before we really gave it out to previews. And I did 10 prototypes myself. They are handmade, that are sent out. They are very pretty, but they are all handmade. and they got sent out. And all those reviewers playing it, I think that's at least another 80 games with a lot of different people where I got a lot of feedback back. So with that feedback again, well, I did some changes, a lot of small changes, by the way, that just made the game better. And it's only possible because of all the feedback we got back.
No, that's great. And I think designers that don't take on the feedback and don't make the changes are missing out on a trick. Sometimes I know from personal experience, you can get protective of an idea, and if you switch off to it, you could be ending up with a no-go. So it's important, and I get that. So
and you need to get used to the feedback, because usually when you play games, it's because or often it is because you're playing with friends that think you might like the game, or you already know that this is an interesting game because you learned about it beforehand. But giving out a prototype that nobody ever played before, you don't know what you're getting into it. And there is a lot of, people have very different taste of what they like to play. So you will give it sometimes to players that usually play different games and stuff like this. So it's very important to realize, well, there is some feedback that comes back from taste, and some feedback that really is focusing on the heart of the game, and where you can really make something better. Where it's about taste, you can make the game different, but it's a different game then. You really want to make the game better. So taking the correct feedback is quite important, and it's something that you need to get used to. It's not something you know from the beginning.
Okay, there's a question that's come up, and I'm not sure if I understand it correctly, but I'll pop it up on screen anyway. So, Madame Hold Puzzafel, speaking of gingerbread.
Puzzafel.
Yes, correct.
You should practice
speaking of gingerbread, can you give us a taste of the nicknames, new or old?
Let me see, because I will just jump into the nicknames people came up with.
Right, yes, of course.
Like one that came up from backers was like the friend indeed, and when it's in the weekend state, it will be the friend in need. And I really love those, like the good-hearted or the heavy-hearted, or the soulmate or the pale mate.
Quite
stuff like that.
164 comments. That's great. That's nice. You've got people interacting with your Kickstarter. That's lovely.
Yes. So I'm really looking forward to the ideas people will come up. So
yeah. So you sent me across some very interesting images to show on screen when we were talking about doing the show. Because originally we were hopefully going to be doing a review for you, but due to just the logistics, we weren't able to do it, were we? So we just turned around and said, let's do a live show instead of doing a review. And
that's so nice of you.
No, crikey. I loved the look of the game way back then, and that was probably 6 months ago we first started chatting about that.
Yeah.
And you know, that you can't always review everything, you know, and it's just the way the cookie crumbles. But the particular image that came up really caught my eye. Here it is. There you go. There's a story behind this. Why is there a banana on your board game, please?
Well, my illustrator asked me at some point, can I make a very small game just to show it off at her booth, because the booths of an illustrator are usually very small, and you know they have to present their artworks, so they don't have really the space for a big game. And I thought, like, well, a small game, I'm not sure if I can do that. And then I thought to myself, if I will go to Essen this time, I probably won't have a booth, but okay. I wanna go there and still present my game. So I really made a very, very tiny game.
I love it. I love it.
It's at 1:3 scale, and it actually has everything in the game.
Wow.
It's completely playable. You just need probably tweezers and a spying glass, but
I mean, look at those cards in your just in your thumb. That is dedication. Now, if you were to get enough Kickstarters, you know, if this was all of a sudden to blow up, would you do a mini version of the game?
People have already asked for that, but there's a difficulty with it. You know, like this game, it is very small. It is handmade. So.
Thanks, Agnes. I think I agree. It is cute.
If I make it handmade, I can't really guarantee a high quality with it, and it will get broken at some point.
Oh, I know, but as a gimmick, it's brilliant.
As a gimmick, it is awesome. But producing it, I already asked now my my manufacturer for a price. And she said she will come up with a price somewhere in this week. So, I will check it out. But I expect it to be quite expensive for something that is really hard to play with.
Okay, well, look, folks, right? I'm going to tell you this. If you want to see this, or you want to, to even see this game come through to fruition, you guys need to be liking, sharing this live stream, and sharing the Kickstarter across all your social media platforms, because this game needs to be made. Whether it's the big version or the small version, but the big version, without a doubt, needs to be made, folks. So come on, power of social media, please. You know, help push this across the line.
It is only off where it needs to be in order for it to be fully funded, and then
so close. I love the concept of the numbers there. So the numbers inside the box. So if I take this off for the moment, so I think Gregor's, he has.
Like I planned it.
I know.
Yeah, I thought this was really cool. As much as I like the game, the actual mechanics of this is really cool. So the way I understand it is you've got all of your standees have a number reference, like the Imp is 19, for example, and they all have a number on the base as well, so that they can just slot into the box, kind of like we saw in the miniature version, but this looks a little bit more organised. And so basically you always know what is where, based on, so because the cards correspond to that, right? So you've got the Imp is 19 on the standee, on the base, and it's 19 on the card as well. So you always know what's pulling out. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
How did you come up with that as a system? Because given that this is like your first game, to have something like that's as detailed and as well thought out as this, I think is really impressive.
Yeah, and I totally agree.
Well, I am actually a really experienced board gamer, so I've played probably 200 of the top 300 games on Board Game Geeks already, probably even more. And there are so many other games that I played too. But when I started doing that, I didn't think about how many standees I will have here. So, you know, a lot of games have a lot of standees. Like, for example, if you think of Gloomhaven, there are so many standees inside. But actually, when you play it in a scenario, you usually only use around 5 or maximum 6 or 7 different standees. You will use them throughout the whole scenario. But in Magical Friends, if you play with 5 people over 7 rounds, you will have at least 35 standees. Because some creatures can summon more than one standee, but you have 35 different standees. And I actually don't know any other game that use so many different standees during a single game. So I had to come up with some way of sorting them and utilize them. Making this inlay, actually, you know, playing the game without the inlay is not so great because you always search for standees.
You spend like more time searching for
yes,
stuff.
Exactly. But actually using the inlay, it's so comfortable. I don't want to play a game with standees without an inlay like this anymore. It's really
a good
comfortable.
Question. So Joe says, at what stage did the part of the design come into existence? I feel like storage solutions are often last to be introduced to a design, are just as crucial to a game's replayability as many other design aspects.
Well, actually it came in very, very early. So this game, I think it's now 3 years that I built around it. And the last 2 years, even I tried to do it as a full-time job. So it's around, how many hours did I work already on it? Let me check. At the moment, I am somewhere around 2,250 hours.
Wow.
That's a lot of time. But actually, with a storage solution, I came up very early because the earlier the game, the harder it was to use the standees. And doing testing with people and always doing complicated things with standees or kind of at first I had just cutouts that I flipped together and used, and always this searching. People couldn't use it without me next to them searching for them. So I had to come up with some way of storaging it, and
it's genius. It's very good.
Yes. Like the standees, they always had to get better and better and better because they are so important to the game. If you look at the imp, you will notice that the imp, it goes inwards. It has like it is a fin. It's a fin standee, so it shows that it is a small creature. There will be normal sized ones. They are not thin, and there will be like some that go outwards that are large standees.
Right. Where we've got on the character cards here, you've got the L and so on. That's your medium and large, and then the standees will also show that as well. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
Also, you see some have gold and some silver, some red borders. You will see that on the standees. And the imp is a flying creature. It will also show on the standee. Some can be dangerous. You also see it on the standee. So the standees are really important in this game. And so also the inlay was an early development. 3 years ago, I was at Essen, even before I got my illustrators, and I already brought an inlay with me to look for manufacturers and check out if they can do that, and also to get quotes to see how much it would cost to do it.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Well, another question. Go on.
I was going to ask you've already basically told us most of what's on the card. Do you want to talk us through what the other things on the card mean? So we've got the sort of alignment of the creature and its size at the top left. Is that right? Yeah.
So you will always, they're either evil, neutral, or good creatures, and they are either small, medium, and large. Like, this is a secondary attribute that is used for some combinations. Most of the time it's not that important, but it gives some restrictions and or some options for the standees. But every creature has 1 or 2 abilities. Usually it's not a very difficult ability, and it often describes the creature. Like, if you know a harpy, usually in the saga, it's like, it's a crazy bird woman. And
Yeah.
this is why the harpy has actually a backdraft. Whenever you get to a crossroads, the player to the left can decide where you go, because, well, she's crazy. But at the same time, she will give you a lot of movement when you pick her. What is important, that whenever you pick a creature cards, you get 2 things at the same time. For one, you will know what kind of creature you get and what abilities it has, and at the same time it will show you how many creatures you can move this turn. Like, for example, the griffin, it has 3 times 2 steps on the right top of the corner.
Mm-hmm.
It means when you pick this card, you will be allowed to move 3 creatures exactly 2 steps this turn. Next turn you will pick another creature and you will have different basic movement. So there is no dice rolling in the game. There is picking the movement every round.
So based on what character you're choosing to go with.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, and as you said, that you can see that there's all sorts of different abilities in here, and some of them are relevant, like the giant being able to carry small and medium-sized creatures. I quite like that. Lots of different things there. Oh, I see a question has appeared in front of my face.
Yeah. Does good, neutral, or evil aspects of creatures affect gameplay at all? Yes, it does. There are some creatures that affect especially good creatures or especially evil creatures. And there are also different pathways actually on the board. For example, there is heaven and hell. So in heaven, good creatures are always safe to go. You cannot kill them there. While at the same time, there is a button or a switch on another pathway where you can just flip around heaven and get down to hell. And in hell, all the evil creatures are dangerous. So even if a creature usually is not able to slay another creature, in hell they can do that. Or if you check out the orc on the right side now that you showed, like the orc can only slay good creatures when he moves on her there.
Cool. Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. That's fine. What would you say is your favourite of all the creatures that you've got on here?
Well, you already picked one that is quite cool. It's the Old Friend. It has a very, very special ability because it's the only ability that can end the game early. So some of you may already have summoned an old and a great old friend in other games, but this one will end the game at the end of the round if he gets to the tavern. So it can be over quickly. And we had some really, really fun games with him because it totally changes the pace of the game.
Yeah, and it changes how all the other players have to strategize as well.
Yes, because sometimes you don't actually want to get him into the tavern at the beginning because another player is in the lead, but just having him around will totally have an effect on the game, how people play it.
We have the Young TV. I don't know whether Chris can click on the comments to make it appear, because I can't apparently. There we go. Yeah, says there are 2 dice included in the game. What are they used for?
So I have 2 dice included, but they only affect two pathways that can be used. So yeah, exactly. We have here different pathways. They are double-sided, and you can choose whatever you want to do. For example, there's the lava one, and it's one of the shorter paths. And if you flip it around, it's the dark cave. The dark cave actually is so dark that you don't really know which way you take. So whenever you pass the crossroads in the dark cave, you will have to roll a die, and either way you are in one way you are poisoned, but you're getting through quickly, and another way you're just passing through it very quickly, and in the third way you just have to take one extra step. But actually you are also hidden in there if you come to a stop right in the dark cave, and it's hard to get you. If somebody is chasing you, it's hard for him to reach you there. So it's a little bit of a risk you take there, but that's all. And there is another pathway. It's the fairy trail. There you also roll a die, but it only tells you on which part of the fairy path you will get some additional bonus if you get there. So the dice really are only for those two paths. It gives some extra flavor.
No, fantastic. I mean, you've definitely got someone here who wants to get a hold of this. So I will be adding this on. If not, I will definitely be buying it later once I know it's backed, and I know you've got some spare copies.
Yes.
At the moment, I think I've exhausted my Kickstarter budget, but if I ask my wife really nicely for my birthday, she might back it for me. So who knows? I'll watch this space. But no, it's been great chatting to you. If for anyone who's got any last questions, I know there was one earlier, and I thought was quite prompt to end on. Where has it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Here we go. So Naturov, do you believe the 40k stretch goal will be reached? Can you look into your magic glass ball?
I think it will be a close one, but I think we can reach it. Yes,
yeah, I think so too.
Usually you will have like around, or that's the usual thing you will see if you read about Kickstarters. You will reach around a third in the first 2-3 days, a third in the middle, and a third in the last 2-3 days, and it can be reachable, but it will be a tough one. We can get it.
Yeah, we certainly can. It looks great, and I love the fact that, of course, that you're producing it, not just doing it in Germany. You've done it in the UK. There's a lot of board game players in Europe, and I think it's a great decision to have made. Was that something that you always wanted to do from early on?
Yeah, I always wanted to do it in German and English, but it makes really a lot of effort to do an additional language, especially if you have that much text on it. Exactly,
we touched on that earlier, and it was a very tough decision and a good decision in my life, because I think that I would say at least 50% of the board gaming community speaks German and English.
There are a lot of German gamers, and
well, we don't have Essen for any other reason.
Yes.
and I'm so gutted that I can't be there this year.
It's very sad.
Yeah, but I will be there next year. It's in the pipe works. It's in the plan to be there and have a presence, because it's not one we've done yet. So we're really excited to go. We're doing a lot of things next year. We're hopefully going to be doing Essen. We're back at UK Games Expo, and we're going to be bigger and better, which is amazing. Watch out for us, because we may even have our own stand, folks. So that will be good. Now, of course, if people are going to Essen, you're going to be there this year. Is that right?
I will be there, but only as a guest. But you will find me, I think, with my miniature game. There is also, you talked about a pledge, maybe. Yeah, let's get this thing produced. But if you get this thing, if we backers get this thing produced. I think it would be great that maybe one of your followers of the Diary of a Lincoln Geek might get away with a pledge for free. Maybe we have a giveaway with you.
Yeah, that's great, and it's nice that you reminded me about that, because yes, we would love to give a deluxe giveaway with yourself. So keep an eye on the website, guys. Of course, that's a spelling on there, but it's DOALG.co.uk. If you're not following the site, then obviously please do, because of course, the announcements will come up on there as soon as it's ready. You've got two addresses you can use. You can use the diaryofalincolngeek.com, or if you like typing in things a little bit shorter, it's DOALG.co.uk. We've already got a brand new subscriber. Thank you, Naturov. That's amazing. We like subscribers. And, if you hit that subscribe, make sure you hit that all-important alert to get that notification for the live shows as well. It's been a great show. I've really enjoyed chatting to you. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Klemens. It's been an absolutely fantastic time. Did you have any last questions for us?
Well, I don't think so, but I also want to return the favor, because you also are... It was really nice chatting with you too.
Good. Thank you very much. Mr. Gregor,
hello.
Have I missed anything out? I don't think I have I?
No, the only
covered
thing
everything.
you were chatting about all the lovely cons that you're going to do next year, but actually you're going to a con this coming weekend, as I understand it.
Yes, I am. I'm going in a punter position. I'm not going as a content creator, because the last few conventions I've done, I've been doing lots of content creation.
Because if he gets any more games for free from just people passing by and going, Chris, we love you. You must have our game. It's just he's going to be overloaded. It's fine. Look, if you see me at Tabletop Live and you want to say hello, then please do. I will be more than happy to stand and have a chat with you and talk to you about your games, but I want to play your games. So if you are listening and you're there and you've brought a game and you want to play, then give me a shout and hit me up, because I'm there to play games and look around and look at what's different and what I've not seen before. So it should be really good. So that's this Saturday, the 17th and 18th. I'm there just for the Saturday. But if you are there along, and I know they do, let us know. I will say, I'm really sorry, Joe, but doing the Kublai Con in California, I would love to be there. I really would. But I think the ticket entry might be a little bit, more reasonable than the actual flight. So you'll see. You never know. I'd love to come to California. I'd love to do a con trip in the US, just to grab a camper van and do the cons up and down, the country in a space of like 3 months or something. But getting the approval from my wife to do that just wouldn't happen. It's like a bucket list. If I won the lottery, I'd do that. I'd take my family to America for 3 months. So, you're welcome, Young TV. Thank you very much, and we're glad you've enjoyed the show. What I'm going to do is we're going to end the show now on a high. We've got the video from where we hide this from Klemens's Kickstarter. So have a look, check this out, guys. In the meantime, take care, stay safe, keep gaming, and hit that all important back it. Go check it out. Go back it. Here we go.
Like every 4 seasons at Midsummer Fest, there is one quest truly aimed at the best. 4 wizards begin deviously to grin, for who the most friends might bring.